Hi, welcome to installment 3 of the OD Diaries. If you haven't seen the first two, please start there because it's very important to watch these first few at least in order. Otherwise, you won't have any idea what I'm talking about. I have an odor disorder, and what that means is that I will always smell bad to other people no matter how clean I am. Well, almost always. You see, now that I'm older and figured out what's wrong with me, I've figured out how to control it better. But what it means is that I have an odor that comes from something that is not just cleanliness. So I could take 8 or even 10 showers in a day and might still smell bad. I have learned some ways to control it now that I'm older, but it still can be good or bad depending on the day and the circumstances. So that's part of why I can't hold a 9 to 5 job, for example. Um, in the first installment, I gave you a quick intro, and in the second installment, I talked about the different types of odor disorders. In this installment, I'd like to talk a little bit about how to tell someone who has an odor disorder from someone who just has bad hygiene. Because that's a very important fact. There are medical odor disorders, but there are also people out there that just plain have bad hygiene. And in order to tell the difference, you really have to pay attention. But it's not as hard as you might think. For example, in general, now this isn't true for everybody, but in general, someone who has bad hygiene either doesn't know that they smell bad or doesn't care that they smell bad. And so in either case, they'd act pretty much normal. They would hang out with groups of people, go places, do things, and just generally act like absolutely nothing was wrong because either, again, they didn't know or they didn't care. So that's one sign that somebody might have bad hygiene. Another sign is if they wear the same clothes all the time, their clothes are clearly dirty and disheveled. Another sign would be if you never see them clean up or take a shower or see them with wet hair. These are all good things to watch for. Now, as far as someone with an odor disorder, that's a little different. Someone with an odor disorder may not know that they have an odor disorder, first of all, because, for example, I've been harassed since I was 4 years old, but I didn't find out that odor disorders even existed until I was 20. So for 16 years, I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what. Now, nevertheless, because I knew something was wrong with me, I did my best to stay out of other people's way. I would eat lunch alone at school. I stayed out of extracurricular activities. Anytime I got a spare second, I snuck off to a bathroom to try to put on deodorant or perfume or cover it up somehow. Because I knew it was there, even though I couldn't smell it. But I didn't know how to fix it because I was just as clean as everybody else, if not cleaner. My record was 8 showers in one day. And so, if you really want to know someone with an odor disorder from someone with bad hygiene, you've kind of got to watch their habits. Someone who knows that they smell bad, but isn't sure why or how to fix it, generally is going to be so upset that they try to stay away from everybody, they don't have a lot of friends, they're very antisocial, they may even be bordering on suicidal. They're also usually pretty desperate. So they might do some strange things once in a while. For example, when I was in high school, I remember one day that I sprayed my entire body down with lemon-scented Pledge furniture polish because I was so desperate for people to stop harassing me. And I was completely out of options. I had tried every deodorant, every perfume, every lotion, everything I could think of, and this was like a last-ditch effort for me. I sprayed my whole body down with that stuff, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. It didn't help me, and it wasn't useful. But the point is, it was a stupid, idiotic thing to do that I did out of desperation. And a lot of people with odor disorders get that desperate. They will try anything and everything. Another thing is, a lot of people with odor disorders are people pleasers. We don't want to bother anybody. We hate the fact that we smell bad, and so we try to overcompensate. We bake people cookies. For those still in school, we let people copy homework. For those at work, we try to do the work of 2 or 3 employees when all we really need to do is our own work. You know, that kind of thing. And so people with odor disorders tend to, now this is not always true, but they tend to act very, very differently from people with bad hygiene who don't know or don't care. And so the big thing to watch for too is anyone with an odor disorder who tells you they have an odor disorder. Most people on Earth don't know that odor disorders exist. So if someone walks up to you and says, I have an odor disorder, or you confront someone and they say, well, I have this thing called an odor disorder, and there are this many different kinds of odor disorder, and they launch into this big apology and explanation. Nobody has any reason to look that up unless they have one, or they really, really think they have one. Someone with bad hygiene is not going to say, oh, well, I have an odor disorder. That's just not something that anyone in normal conversation would say. So essentially, if someone tells you that they have a problem, you need to listen to them. And so with that, I think I'm going to wind up on number 3 here. And stay tuned for installment number 4 coming to you probably within the next couple days. Thanks.